Hi, I'm John Mina.
And I am Leontina Foy. I would like to welcome you to our YouTube channel. John and I are currently in our final year undertaking Bachelor in Communication Arts. As part of the Rattabon's travel team, our aim is to share with you the beauty of East New Britain, from our culture to food, sights and many more.
Despite being diverse in culture, East New Britain has been experiencing a deterioration, especially in the Tolai Society, where modernization and globalization continues to threaten the stability of their traditional customs and values.
We were able to meet with Kilian Lukara, an environmental health lecturer from Nangananga village, who shared his views on how gender-based violence influences cultural practices in East New Britain province, especially in the Tolai Society. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Lukara. Thank you for responding to our request for the interview. We mainly just have 3 questions regarding cultural fade in the Tolai Society, but our questions are regarding gender-based violence in the province. So without further ado, we'll begin with the first question, which is, what is your perspective on gender-based violence in the Tolai Matrilineal Society?
Thank you. Firstly, thank you for having me at this time. I will try my best to give a real perspective on what I think about GBV, gender-based violence in the Tolai Society. Gender-based violence in the Tolai Matrilineal Society is sometimes it's a very complex issue due to several reasons. So many people don't know that while the Tolai Society is matrilineal, most of the decision-making responsibility still lies with the men. And so this sometimes affects how women are seen in society. Even though land rights, things like land rights, inheritance, and some of the factors of life in the Tolai Society is matrilineal. Most of the important decision making still lies with the men folks, and that can perpetuate gender-based violence, as there are imbalance of responsibilities and powers.
On to the second question. What traditional belief or practices influence attitudes towards gender-based violence?
Well, one of the traditional norms that influences gender-based violence, not only in the Tolai Society, but just about every culture societies in Papua New Guinea, is the payment of bride price. It kinds of commoditize women. They are seen as commodity when bride price is paid for them, and so this kind of creates a kind of mentality where the men thinks that they own the woman, and it's kind of a commodity. And when they see women that way, it diminishes their value, and so that can also encourage gender-based violence, as they are seen as just another piece of property being bought, and not someone or something that can be valued and be regarded as equal.
Okay, on to our last question. From your perspective, what behaviors are considered acceptable or unacceptable in an intimate relationship?
That is a very important question. I regard certain behaviors that are acceptable, and the first one would be respect. Respect is the most important thing in a relationship, and not just in a marriage relationship, but in a relationship. Respect and trust are the most important aspects. The other thing is open communication is another one. Most women are gagged, meaning that they are not allowed to speak out and to speak up on certain things and certain matters, and that is why sometimes they are abused, but they cannot speak out, probably because of shame and so on and so forth. The other one is mutual respect is another one. Mutual respect is a very, very important aspect that can prevent GBV. When there is mutual respect, there is common understanding between both parties. That refers to a male and female or in a marriage relationship. And the other thing is consent and boundaries. Consent meaning that because, like I said before, because of bride price payment and things like that, we commoditize women, and so we expect them to listen to us only, and so we don't have that. Sometimes men don't think that they need consent from women to do certain things, but they do. They need women's consent, and so other things that this kind of like the payment of price also removes the boundaries. Like the men do not have any boundaries towards the women, and that can result in abuse of relationship. Some of the unacceptable behaviors is physical violence, emotional violence, and there are some other violence which are not acceptable. Sexual cohesion in relationship, men might instruct their partner or their wife to do certain things against their consent.
The issues outlined by Mr. Lukara, including many others, are some of the factors that have contributed to the gradual fade of East New Britain's culture. However, people across the province continue to show strength and resilience in the fight for their cultural identity. This can be seen through certain cultural practices that are still practiced today, like the shell money or tabu system, as it remains an important aspect of local economy and social exchanges.
Furthermore, most of the younger generations are fully engaging in online activities, so we highly recommend integrating traditional knowledge and modern innovations, such as social media platforms and other storytelling platforms, to ensure cultural stability in East New Britain Province, not only for the Tolai Society, but also including the other two societies, which are the Baining and Pomyo Society, and probably the country as a whole.
What would you do if your very own culture was under the threat of being lost forever?
We've come to the end of a very insightful interview. If you like our content and would like to hear more from us, please do not hesitate to like, comment and subscribe. We also have the link to our bio found in the description below.
That is all from us. Goodbye for now.